A recent poll found that majority of Latino voters feel they are largely ignored by both Democrats and Republicans. The poll also found that 60% of Latinos feel the country is headed in the wrong direction, a number which was higher under former President Donald Trump, when roughly 72% of Latino voters said the nation was heading down the wrong path. This, as another survey by NPR, Harvard University, and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation found that 48% of Latino households are facing serious financial problems due to price increase as a result of inflation. And a recent New York Times Siena College poll found Democrats statistically tied with Republicans among Hispanics on the generic congressional ballot. But during the 2018 midterms, Democrats held a much wider edge with Hispanics. Joining us now, Emmy Award-winning journalist and MSNBC contributor Maria Hinojosa. Her new book, Once I Was You, Finding My Voice and Passing the Mic, is now adapted for young readers. And we welcome you back to the show and love the concept here, because you are hoping that all Latinos and younger ones coming up into the world will become active members in a democracy. What are you hoping that they will hear?
So, Mika, it's great to be with you and be back in the studio after 2.5 years. So it's just all around great. Listen, I decided to write this book once I heard and understood the statistics about Latinos and Latinas. And I kind of repeat this mantra, right? Latinos and Latinas are the second largest voting cohort in the United States. So if you care about democracy, you have to care about what Latinos and Latinas are thinking about in terms of their participation. And then there's this data point, right, which is that the median age for Latinos and Latinas dropped over the last decade. It is now 10 to 11 years old. That's our median age in the United States of America. Hence why I had to write a book for 10-year-olds, because, Mika, you know, when I was growing up, it was the civil rights era. And it's a very similar time right now. And I want kids to understand that they have a voice and that they're impacted by history, but that they can impact history, too, with using their voices.
And as we look at, you said it's important to know what Latinos and Latinas are thinking about. What are they thinking about them? What are the issues that are important to them? And how does that play out between Democrats and Republicans? Because I think it's very interesting. It's hard to pinpoint, but are there any prevailing issues?
Well, it's a challenging question. Look, I think if I would say that there's a challenging issue, it would be, and it's not exactly a political one that politicians can take on, but it's essentially invisibility, right? Like Latinos and Latinas still essentially feel invisible. Under Donald Trump, they were hyper visible over a narrative that he created, which is untrue, right? Because I'm a Mexican immigrant and my family is, and we're not anything that he said we were. So that's kind of writ large. I think what I would say is that get ready for the complexity of Latino and Latina voters. And I've been saying this for decades, right? We are not all just Democrats or radical or socialists or anti-communist or, you know, Republican. We are really a community of voters that is very in tune, but also the parties are just not talking to them, although the Republicans are making a bigger effort, I would say.
So, Maria, that's exactly where I wanted to go with you next. And first of all, congrats on the book. You know, certainly not a monolith, and the Latino voting population, but we have seen polls suggest, you know, Donald Trump did better than expected in 2020. We've seen that repeat itself in a few other local elections, too. You just said Republicans are doing a better job taking their message to the Latino and Latina voters. How are they doing that?
They're doing it in multiple ways. So on a community level, there are places that are doing kind of like free food giveaways, like real kind of basic things, and kind of like connecting with people there. There's a lot of, yes, misinformation that is being, in terms of Latinos and Latinas, through WhatsApp. But in general, if you talk to voters, when I'm out in the street, and finally I'm back out and doing that kind of reporting, it's just not as easy to say, yes, the Democrats have got this locked in. And I'm always critical of the Democrats because this is theirs to lose. You know, there's so much that they can be doing in terms of getting this community to feel enthusiastic. And I feel yet again that they're like, no, but ultimately they'll come out and vote for us because they're not going to go for the Republicans. And this is it. What is the future of democracy if Latinos and Latinas are the second largest voting cohort? We grew over 50% of the total population growth was because Latinos and Latinas in the United States having babies over the last decade. So if we are tending Republican, it says a lot about what the future of this country is going to look like.
Marina Hinojosa, thank you so much. Her book, Once I Was You, Finding My Voice and Passing the Mic, now adapted for young readers. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you for doing this book.